Hey guys, it's Brendan Borman, back for another 270 video. Today, I'll be playing as Michelle Obama taking on Donald Trump. But the point of this video is to talk about new players and the mistakes that they frequently make. How can we avoid them, and how can you improve as a beginning player? I will not be giving game commentary, but just you can watch it and enjoy. The number one mistake that most new players make is they do not fully understand the complete rules of the game. Now, I'll give them a break. The tutorial and rules that 270 puts out there are a bit confusing, and really the best way to learn is just to go play. You know, you may lose in the public lobby, but you're going to pick up on tips and tricks that other players use in different state combinations that can get you certain bonuses. How to achieve a bonus is one of the most important things. So understanding that third pip in a state or the fourth pip in the national group that's marked by a line, that is the minimum investment needed to earn credit for that state. The electoral count has no impact on whether or not you get credit for a bonus. It is totally based on the money spent in a specific group, whether that's a state group or a national group. New players also need to learn how to force a ballot. So what triggers a ballot? And that is 100% of the states being invested in and a total of 100 electoral votes locked in. So that state is all the way clinched to the 10th rung. It's also important to realize how much money that candidates specifically are going to unlock for each group and how that the character penalties and bonuses impact that. That can basically determine what strategy you go for, but remember, not all bonuses are created equally. The number two new player mistake that I see very frequently is players coming into a match having one set strategy and then not pivoting to a different point when that's blocked. One of the biggest and most valuable bonuses is that swing state bonus. And sometimes you'll see a player just fight. And if they don't get the swing state bonus, they'll forfeit. And again, that's not good for anybody because you are getting a loss, your opponent's not getting a win, and you're just, not getting the most out of the game that's possible. So remember to pivot. You will pick up on different strategies, and in future videos, I'm going to put out a basic Republican and basic Democratic strategy guide. Obviously, you can learn, like I was mentioning earlier, by just playing people and seeing what works best for you. Also, new players are very predictable. They'll open up in Florida, Pennsylvania, and Ohio, for example, which is not the most efficient way to get the swing state bonus. But then turn number two, they'll do the same spend, and hopefully turn number three, they can get that bonus, but oftentimes someone could block that if they're trying to do that. So try to not be predictable. The very beginning turns are very crucial to the success of the game. And while you can't win the game in the first 2 or 3 turns, you can definitely lose it. So keep that in mind. One thing that new players do struggle with, and I find myself answering questions in private messages on Facebook, which feel free to always reach out to me if you have any questions, is when do I defend and when do I not? Like, it feels like people pressure me in my states and I don't know. I feel like I go all in. All of a sudden, they've got so much more money than I have. And that's a very tough battle. Even people who are very good at this game, sometimes it's a gut instinct. Do you defend? Do you not defend? But it's critical to know how to get those bonuses and how you can lose those bonuses. Remember, if you have state group funds, like in high tech, and you lose the high tech bonus, any unspent money that turn, will roll over and you'll get to use it for the future turns unless you lose the bonus. Then all that money goes away. So, if you just have it by the skin of your teeth and you think you're going to lose it, maybe instead of defending, you open up in new states inside that group. That way you can expand your reach across the map and also the next turn go ahead and get that bonus back. It's not the end of the world to lose a bonus for one turn. However, if you defend to the 8th pip in Florida, for example, and your opponent goes all in and steals it, that's $800,000 you've invested in Florida. You don't have any of the bonuses that go with that, and that's 29 electors that your opponent got, and it only cost them a net of $200K, the $1 million they invested minus the $800,000 you invested. So definitely want to learn. There's not an exact science to that, but pick up on different tendencies that your opponent has. Maybe they just go 1 pip past you in certain states. Maybe they go 2. Maybe there's someone who likes to finish off states completely. Kind of make a mental note of that, and that might help you in that specific match and in matches going forward. Another mistake that I see beginner players make is they over-invest in national groups. So national groups are a way that you can earn extra cash that's not limited to specific state groups. However, it comes at an opportunity cost, because if you go in national groups, that allows your opponents to get an early advantage in very strong state groups. There is a point where there is a break-even point in your mind of what makes it worth it. And the longer you can make the game last, the more benefit your national groups will have in the end. However, going back to the pips, it's very important to know that you unlock 100% of the bonus for that specific state or national group when you get to that 3rd pip. If you already have swing states, for example, with going back to Florida, Pennsylvania, and Ohio, if you just put more money into Florida, that does not equate to you getting more money. You're just basically defending that bonus you already have. Same thing with national groups. If you have the big conservative bonus on the 4th pip, and you have already unlocked that, by spending 2 more pips into big conservative does not earn you more money. You're just preventing someone else from stealing that bonus from you, which oftentimes they're not going to do that unless they have a really, really high big conservative bonus themselves, because they're spending pure cash to try to steal that from you. So again, you'll learn from playing matches, but oftentimes most people will say stick to national groups in the very, very beginning stages of the game. And really in single player, they're more rare than they are in multiplayer. When you're playing in a multiplayer setting, the games tend to last a little bit longer. You get a little bit more bang for your buck. Plus, you can avoid a big clash in a state like California or Texas. Another mistake that I often see among new players is that they show their cards way too soon. So if they are opening up in West Virginia, Wyoming, and Alaska, obviously they're going for the oil and gas bonus. However, you cannot achieve the oil and gas bonus without California or without Texas. You have to have one of those 2 states. And so if I start off in swing and I am able to pivot to manufacturing, I can use my manufacturing money to defend in Texas while using my cash to defend in California to prevent you from getting the oil bonus. You oftentimes, don't want to just have one out where, for example, if you go into Louisiana, North Carolina, Virginia, and Maryland for the Old South, if you are contested in 2 or 3 of those states and you're not in any of their Old South state, then it's going to be very easy to prevent that bonus from you. You need to pivot and expand your reach into other states. Now, you don't want to overextend, because if you put so much money into the Old South and it takes you 3 or 4 turns to get that and your opponent can get another strong bonus, you have to realize that what's the most efficient way to get a bonus, and then how can this bonus translate into another bonus? So the Old South bonus can transfer really good into the swing state bonus or into the African American bonus. But if you're trying to go from Old South to town and gown, that's not going to work. So kind of realize the different paths and then have a plan B would be my recommendation. New players are also susceptible to a quick ballot, meaning that you're behind in the game and someone puts 1 or 2 pips into all of the open states, thus forcing a ballot because there are already 100 EVs locked in, And now there's a ballot round. And because of the rule that you can only spend 1 or 2 pips into a state, the first investment, you now cannot win those states. And so you can go from maybe being ahead or a close match to all of a sudden having no chance because you didn't invest enough states. So you really have to be conscious of how close the game is to ending. Around 11, 12, round 13, start keeping an eye on it. And who knows, in future updates, there might be a way that the game tracks it so you don't have to do the math manually. But that's one more thing you have to keep track of. Again, state groups, national groups, those are all great to have those bonuses. But at the end of the day, it's all about having 270 electoral votes to win the presidency. So, as you can see in this video, I have well over 270. I do have $1.44 million to Donald Trump's almost 600K. And so I have this well in hand. The longer this game goes, the bigger my advantage will become. And so really, I want to, I think Carlos actually quit this game. But, if I was still trying to win, I'd want to make sure I was in all of the open states and that on the ballot round, then I could go all in. There's no reason for me to invest right now. I can see where he spends his money, and that will give me a better idea on the ballot round of how I can get the most electoral votes as possible. Anyway, I want to say thank you so much for tuning into this video. This is the one of the videos in my beginner series that I'll be launching all month long. Stay tuned for more videos, and if you enjoy this content, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. And as always, this is Brendan Borman wishing you a good day. And until next time, deuces, juices.